Good day, everyone, and to my dear classmates of BSL Sox 21. Today, we will be discussing about the topic Region 4B, also known as Mimaropa, which consists of four provinces, namely Mindoro, Marinduque, Romblon, and Palawan. Without further ado, let us now move on to our learning objectives. So, by the end of the lesson, students should be able to identify the provinces that make up Mimaropa and describe their unique land and water formations. Second is to discuss how these formations contribute to the livelihood and culture of the people. Third is explain the main causes and threats to the region's natural environment. Fourth is to identify the major ecosystems found in Mimaropa and their importance. And lastly, appreciate the festivals, flora and fauna, and local traditions that define the region's identity. So, without further ado, let us now move on to our discussion proper.
Mimaropa is an acronym that stands for Mindoro, Marinduque, Romblon, and Palawan. These provinces are situated in the southwestern part of Luzon. The region is unique because it is geographically separated from mainland Luzon, making its transportation and economy heavily reliant on sea routes. The regional capital is Calapan City in Oriental Mindoro, which served as the administrative center. Covering more than 30,000 square kilometers, it is home to over 3.2 million people according to the 2020 census. Each province contributes something distinct. Mindoro with its mountains and indigenous groups, Marinduque with its festivals, Romblon with its marble, and Palawan with its world-class natural wonders. After learning what Mimaropa is, let us explore its physical landscape. Mimaropa has a highly varied topography. It includes tall mountain ranges such as in Mindoro mountain system, which influences the region's climate and biodiversity. Lowland plains and valleys, which serve as agricultural lands where crops like rice, coconut, and root crops are grown. Coastal areas since most provinces are islands, giving communities access to fishing grounds and beaches. Karst formation and caves, especially in Palawan and Romblon, form through limestone erosion, creating unique landscapes. This variety of landforms make Mimaropa rich in natural resources and ecosystem. With this understanding of the terrain, let us look more specifically at its important land formation. The region has several remarkable land formations. Mount Iglit Baco National Park, also in Mindoro, is the only habitat of the endangered tamarau, highlighting the region's commitment to conservation. Mount Halcon in Mindoro, known for its steep slopes and diverse wildlife, is one of the most challenging climbs in the Philippines. Romblon's marble quarries are intentionally recognized for producing high-quality marble, which is exported to various countries. Tres Reyes Islands in Marinduque, named after the three kings, have volcanic origins, are known for clear waters and rich marine life. These landforms are not just scenic, they support economic activities such as tourism, agriculture, and mining. From land, we move on to the rich water bodies that surround and shape the region. Mimaropa's waters are among the richest in the world. Notable formation includes Puerto Princesa Subterranean River, a natural wonder featuring an underground river that flows into the sea. It is recognized internationally for its natural beauty. Top Tahata Reefs National Park in Palawan, a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its extraordinary biodiversity. It is considered a global center of marine life with hundreds of fish, coral, and sea turtle species. Nauhan Lake National Park in Mindoro, the fifth largest lake in the country, which supports freshwater fish species and serves as a habitat for migratory birds. These water formations support fisheries, tourism, transportation, and biodiversity. These natural features provide many benefits to the people who live in the region. The environment of Mimaropa sustains important industries, fisheries, as coastal communities rely on the sea for food and livelihood, agriculture, where fertile plains supports rice, coconut, and fruit production, tourism, driven by beaches, caves, rivers, reefs, and cultural sites, mining, particularly in Romblon in Palawan, where minerals and marble provide income jobs, forestry, with forest products like lumber, lucerne, and rattan. These industries not only provide income but also shape social life, culture, and community traditions.
Now, let us move on with Region 4B's atmosphere or Mimaropa's atmosphere. Mimaropa's atmosphere is characterized by a tropical climate with high temperature and humidity, featuring both wet and dry seasons, and is prone to a tropical cyclone. Just like the other groups, since Mimaropa is in the country, the Philippines, and Philippines is near the Pacific Ocean, where the tropical cyclones or tropical storms are formed and created. Now, let's move on with the atmospheric events. So, first we have is the typhoon. So, Palawan and Mindoro occasionally face strong typhoons, which causes flooding and landslide in mountain areas. So, just like the Bagyong Tino and Bagyong Verbena, which has hit Mindoro and Palawan, it had caused houses being destructed, crops and yields being affected, and the disruption of like everything in the provinces of Palawan and Mindoro. But before I move on to the next bullet, I would like to discuss a little about the types of season in the Philippines, which we have two. First, I would like to discuss the wet season that typically occurs during June to November, and it is associated with the southwest monsoon. So, during this season, heavy rainfall, high humidity, and the possibility of typhoon is high. And the next one is the dry season that typically occurs during December to May. And its characteristics are sunny, it's dry, and the condition with a little rain. So during this time, nindot mag langoy-langoy sa beach because yamoy ulan, there is no typhoon. It is good for vacation. Now, moving on to the next bullet, the heavy rainfall and flooding. So, some low-lying areas in Oriental Mindoro and Marinduque experiences flooding during the wet season. So, as I've explained, no, during wet season, since tag-ulan man na and the possibility of typhoon is high or risky, some low-lying areas in Oriental Mindoro and Marinduque experiences flooding because of so much rain, which causes flooding in low-lying areas, and it disrupts the everyday life there now. And then moving on to the third bullet, we have the southwest monsoon, or also known as habagat, which occurs, as I've said earlier, from June to November. And it brings heavy rains and occasional typhoons that affects the agriculture and fishing, as I've discussed. No, it disrupts agriculture really because if too much nga rain, it affects the yields of the farmer, and many fishermen cannot work or dili sila makapangisda, and there will be a little fish for them. For the fourth bullet, we have the northeast monsoon, also known as the Amihan. It occurs from December to May, and it brings cooler and drier air which is favorable for tourism and farming. And then last, another atmospheric or event, or I think it is still associated with the atmosphere, is the drought. So the El Nino period. So the next is the drought or the El Nino period. So during El Nino period, there are water shortages. It also affects crop and the irrigation system. So um, well, El Nino really affects crops and the agriculture because during this time, if there is a lack of water, how will the plants or how will the rice that the farmers grow if dili enough ang water and the irrigational system is kanang disrupted? The agricultural sector will be affected. And because of that, it can sometimes lead to kanang musaka ang presyo sa bugas, no. So next is the so moving on, why does Mimaropa face these atmospheric events? So, Mimaropa is a coastal region that is bounded by several seas, which means it is directly in the path of many weather systems. So, as I've said earlier, no, Mimaropa faces this atmospheric event because the region is bounded by water bodies, and the region 4B is near or is part of the country the Philippines, and the country the Philippines is near the Pacific Ocean, where tropical cyclone or tropical storms are formed. And because of that, it is one factor that it is path for the typhoons. And then we have here, it's because of the monsoon pattern. So, na-discuss na nako siya. It's about the south west monsoon and northeast monsoon. So, the region is affected by the alternating winds of monsoon, which creates the unstable weather condition and bring significant rainfall. Next is it's the climate change. So, another reason why Mimaropa faces this atmospheric events is because of climate change. Global warming intensifies these natural phenomena, and warmer sea surface temperatures lead to a stronger and more disruptive typhoon with a higher wind speed and heavier rainfall, exacerbating the risk of flooding and landslides. So global warming and climate change. So the warmer the sea surface or the temperature of the sea, it leads to a more destructive typhoon with a higher wind speed. So nakabantay man ta this time or sa atong panahon karon, the typhoons these days are much more destructive than before, and it is because of the global warming or kanang pagkatunaw sa ice in the Antarctica. And it is one factor because, as I've said, since the warmer the sea surface temperature, mas mulid siya into stronger and mas destructive na typhoon and mas kusog nga hangin. Just like what we experienced kadtong pag Typhoon Odette. We experienced a heavy storm, a destructive storm that destroyed many houses, gilupad ang mga bongbong, and nakapatumba sa mga kahoy nga karaan, and so big, and it had caused some businesses to kanang nigamay ilang kita, and also naglisod ta during those time because of because of typhoon Odette. It disrupted the ano it disrupted also the electricity during that time. Like there were power outages in different parts of Bohol. And then next is the biosphere, or the biosphere of Mimaropa. Now, let us move on to its biosphere, or the biosphere of Mimaropa. First we have is the way of living, or the way of living of the people living in Mimaropa. First is their livelihood. So most residents are farmers, fishermen, and artisans. So farmers, because Mimaropa is a fertile land, and it is also known for being the food basket of Luzon, since they grow some staples like onions, garlic, mango, coconut, corn, cashew, and bananas. Fishermen's, because Mimaropa is near coastal water, and the region is composed of islands, and it is bounded by water. So everywhere sa parts sa Mimaropa, there is water. From tanaw nimo sa map, there naa sa right, sa left, it's like being surrounded by water. And artisans, because of Romblon as being the capital of marble, or also known as marble capital of the Philippines, ang Romblon. And the next is the food and cuisine. So diet consists mainly of rice, fish, and coconut. So the people living in Mimaropa typically eats rice, fish, and coconuts because of their livelihood, since they are fishermen and farmers. So the farmers, they grow rice, coconuts. That is why mo na ilahang diet. And also the fishermen, since they catch fish from the water bodies that surrounds Mimaropa, it is also one of their diet. So dishes like laing, adobong manok sa gata, and kinilaw are common. So mo na ang mga food nga or the cuisines nga pagkaon sa Mimaropa. And then next is the type of housing of the people there. So mga balay. So in coastal areas, houses often are made of slits and bamboo and nipa, while on the mountain villages they use wood and cogon grass. So sa mountain, I think typically makita na ang like cogon grass and the woods, like daghan man kakahuyan sa mountain. So they are being resourceful on what they find and use it as a tool to build their homes or houses. Next, let us move on to the indigenous groups found in Mimaropa or Region 4B. First is we have the Mangyan. So, Mangyans are found traditionally in the remote mountainous region in or of Mindoro. So Mangyan isn't just one indigenous group. It consists of 8 distinct groups that live in the island mountains of highlands, or including the Iraya, Alangan, Tadyawan, Taubuid, Bangon, Buhid, Hanuno, and Ratagnan, Mangyan. So the Mangyans, or the Mangyan indigenous group, are best known for their traditional art and crafts like the needle weaving, the basketry, and their unique writing systems, and as also poetry. And then next is the Tagbanwa. So Tagbanwa are found primarily in central and northern Palawan, with two main groups, the Central Tagbanwa and the Calamian Tagbanwa. So, Tagbanwa are also known as the people of the place, and they are known for being close to nature. They are known for rituals like the Pagdiwata, rice and wine ceremony, and they have distinct syllabic scripts, and they also have a sense of strong spiritual beliefs, and they are considered as the guardians of the land. Now, why should we give importance to these indigenous groups or people living in the Mimaropa region or Region 4B, or the various distinct indigenous people living in the Philippines? Well, we should give importance to the different indigenous groups in the Philippines because they are crucial to the nation cultural identity. They act as a steward of the environment, and they pose a valuable knowledge for sustainable development and climate adaptation. So we should give them importance, no, because they are crucial to the nation's cultural identity, and that we would not be Philippines or Filipino as we are without this various indigenous people. Dapat jud tagaan na to sila pagtaga because sa biodiversity sa environment, they act as the guardians of the environment, and they pose a distinct knowledge that we lack. Their like durability during typhoons, bisag unsa nga weather, they can survive, and that we should recognize we could we should recognize each other's support. We should not discriminate them for being indigenous, and we should embrace them because they are still Filipino. That we are one Filipino as a whole, and that we should work together. Now, let us move on to the unique flora and fauna that can be found in Region 4B or Mimaropa. First we have is the Almasiga tree, with the scientific name of Agathis philippinensis. So, Almasiga tree is a large, ancient conifer native to the Philippines, where it is found in the mountains of Palawan. So, this tree is a massive tree that can reach up to 65 meters in height with a trunk up to 3 meters in diameter. It has a smooth gray bark and leathery opposite leaves. So, this tree is highly valued for its resin, which is used for varnishes and other industrial products, and this tree is also considered critical or vulnerable because of habitat loss, illegal logging, and the destructive resin tapping, which threatens its future and the livelihoods of the communities that depend on it. Mostly the indigenous communities that use this tree as the source of income. Next is the pitcher plant with the scientific name of Nepenthes palawanensis. So, there are several unique and endemic pitcher plant species, particularly in the islands of Palawan and Sibuyan. First is the Nepenthes philippinensis. This species of pitcher plant is endemic to the Philippines and is found in specifically in Palawan and the neighboring Calamian Islands. Next is the Nepenthes sibuyanensis. So as its name suggests, this pitcher plant is endemic to Sibuyan Island in Romblon province, which is part of Mimaropa. Next we have is the Nepenthes attenboroughi. This highly famous large carnivorous plant is endemic to the summit region of Mount Victoria and surrounding peaks in central Palawan. And then we have here the Nepenthes palawanensis, another species found only in Palawan, specifically near Sultan Peak. And last, we have the Nepenthes argenti. This is the smallest known pitcher plant species and is found exclusively in Mount Giting-Giting on Sibuyan Island. And then next we have the Strongylodon macrobotris or the jade vine, locally known as tayabak. It is a plant species native and grows wild in the damp forests of Mindoro and the island within Mimaropa region. So, um, this jade vine or tayabak can be found in Mount Iglit Baco National Park. This park is located in Mindoro and is known habitat that harbors the endangered jade vine. So, jade vine produces striking claw-shaped flowers that hang in cascading trusses, up to 3 meters long, ranging in color from blue-green to mint-green, similar to turquoise. So, in the wild, it is primarily pollinated by bats. The vine can reach up to 18 meters or 75 feet. Grabe kata. So, for its conservation status, the species is classified as vulnerable by the IUCN since or it is increasingly rare in the wild due to the ongoing deforestation and habitat loss in the Philippines, or like due to the ongoing like massive destruction of the forest in the Philippines or in Mimaropa. Now, let us move on to the unique fauna found in Mimaropa or Region 4B. First we have is the tamarao, with the scientific name of Bubalus mendurunensis. It is a critically endangered dwarf buffalo and is endemic to the islands of Mindoro in Mimaropa region. So this buffalo was once widespread. Its population has been drastically reduced by habitat loss from human activities like agriculture and logging, illegal hunting, and diseases. So, tamarao is now found only in a few isolated locations, primarily in the mountainous areas of Mindoro, such as Mount Iglit Baco. So, next we have is the Philippine mouse deer, or also known as pilandok. So the Philippine mouse deer, or also known with a scientific name of Trangulus nigricans, locally known as pilandok, as I've said, is endemic to the Palawan faunal region, which is also part of Mimaropa. Its primary habitats are Balabac and nearby smaller islands like Bugsok and Ramos, located in the southwest of Palawan island itself. So, pilandok species is found only in the specific island groups in Mindoro, as I said earlier. So, this mouse deer is one of the smallest hoofed animals in the world, about the size of a house cat. So imagine no, a house cat. Gamay jud siya. And then with the name deer, with the name of deer looking mouse, so like more mga confused ta, but it's really cute as I've seen in pictures. And it only stands around 18 centimeters or 7 inches at the shoulder. And male pilandoks have a tusk-like canine teeth instead of horns. So, pilandok's behavior is shy, solitary, and they are nocturnal creatures, primarily feeding on leaves, flowers, and fruits in the dense forest undergrowth. Next we have is the dugong, or with the scientific name of dugong dugon. So dugongs can be found in water bodies of Palawan, and they are most frequently spotted in the Calamian Islands, specifically around Coron and Busuanga Island, where they can be seen grazing on seagrass. They are also tours and opportunities to snorkel or watch them in their natural habitat in this region. So dugong is a type of sea mammal, no? They are referred to as the sea cow because they live in the water and they eat grass. Mura sila og baka. I mean, they are considered as the cows in the ocean because they eat seaweeds. Next we have here is the polyp Polyplectron napoleonensis, or locally known as tandikan, or the peacock peasant. Palawan peacock peasant. So, Palawan peacock peasant is endemic in the island of Palawan. From the name itself, makaibaw ng asa siya makita. It is a vulnerable species that serves as a symbol for conservation efforts in the region. So, this peacock peasant is endemic to Palawan, and they are listed as vulnerable species due to its high demand for conservation efforts, and it has a distinct appearance because males are known for its black body with iridescent blue-green eyes. Wow, very beautiful. And on its wings and tail, the female is similar to the female red jungle fowl, with a reddish face and cocks her tail. And the next we have is the pangolin, or also known locally as the balintong. So, the Philippine pangolin, with the scientific name of Manis Polionensis, is found exclusively in the province of Palawan, again, which is part of Mimaropa region. So, this balintong is critically endangered species, and it's the only pangolin species found in the Philippines. The local name is balintong. As I said earlier, this refers to its one who rolls over, balintong. I mean, I'm pretty sure nga you are familiar with the word balintong. Balintong, to roll over. So this refers to its defense mechanism of curling into a tight, armored ball when threatened. So its habitat is, it primarily lives in the lowland and secondary forests, as well as surrounding grasslands. So their diet, like other pangolins, they are nocturnal animal that feeds almost exclusively on ants and termites, using their extraordinary sense of smell to locate these insects. And that would be all for my part. I would now let Miss Fillion to continue festival and conclusion.
To understand the region's cultural identity, we also look at its festivals. Mimaropa's cultural festival reflects history, faith, and community pride. Morion's festival in Marindoque, a Hollow Week tradition with colorful masks portraying Roman soldiers. Baragatan Festival in Palawan, which celebrates unity among municipalities through parades, trade fairs, and cultural presentation. Pandang Gita Festival in Oriental Mindoro, where dancers balance lit lamps while performing traditional dances inspired by Spanish influence. These festivals strengthen cultural identity, attract tourists, and preserve heritage. To conclude, let us summarize the essence of the region. The Mimaropa region is a remarkable blend of natural and cultural richness. Its mountains, rivers, lakes, and seas support diverse ecosystems that provide livelihood and identity to its people. The region's traditions, festival, and indigenous heritage reflect a strong connection to nature and community. However, Mimaropa also faces environmental threats that require responsible management and conservation efforts. By understanding its beauty and challenges, we recognize our role in protecting this region for future generations. And that's all for our presentation. Thank you everyone for listening.